Let's be real. Negative thinking is like that uninvited guest who shows up just when life is finally going okay. It whispers worst case scenarios in your ear, it fuels self doubt, and it convinces you to expect the worst. But here's the truth: negative thinking isn't your reality, it's just a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken, but before you can change anything, you have to see it clearly. And when it comes to negative thinking, the biggest challenge is that it often happens on autopilot. Thoughts come and go so fast that we don't even realize we're spiraling. One small worry can snowball into a storm of self-doubt, fear, or anger before we've had the chance to pause and ask, wait, where did this even come from? Awareness is the first and most powerful step because it pulls you out of that mental autopilot. Think of it like flipping on a light in a dark room. You suddenly see what you're dealing with. You become the observer of your thoughts instead of being trapped in them. That moment of observation gives you space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to choose a different response. Start by simply noticing the tone of your inner voice throughout the day. Is it supportive or critical? Are you constantly predicting worst-case scenarios, doubting your worth, or assuming things will go wrong? Pay attention to patterns. Keep a small journal or note on your phone where you write down recurring thoughts that feel heavy or stressful. No need to fix them right away. Just start noticing. That alone can be eye-opening. The more you practice this, the quicker you'll catch negative thoughts when they arise. You'll begin to recognize them not as truths, but as mental habits. You'll realize how often they show up without being invited. And from there, you can begin the real work, choosing not to engage with every thought that passes through your mind. Awareness builds self-control. It's like catching a spark before it turns into a wildfire. And the earlier you catch it, the easier it becomes to shift the direction of your mind. Once you've built the awareness to catch a negative thought as it arises, the next crucial step is to challenge it. Simply noticing a negative thought is helpful, but it's not enough on its own. We need to confront it, question it, and put it under the microscope. This is where the real power of transformation lies, because a lot of the negative thoughts we have are based on faulty assumptions, exaggerated fears, or past experiences that don't define our present reality. Start by asking yourself some critical questions. Is this thought true? Is this thought based on facts or feelings? What evidence do I have to support this belief? Am I jumping to conclusions or catastrophizing? For example, you might think, I always mess things up, or I'm not good enough to succeed. Now take a step back and ask yourself, is that actually true? Sure, you may have made mistakes in the past, but does that mean you'll always fail? The key here is to remember that a mistake or failure is a moment, not a definition of who you are or your potential. Often, negative thoughts are exaggerated or generalized. You may make a small mistake and then tell yourself that this always happens to me, or I can never do anything right. But the reality is, one mistake doesn't define your ability or your future success. When you challenge these generalizations, you begin to see them for what they are, overblown and not entirely accurate. Another important part of this is understanding the difference between thoughts and reality. Our minds are incredibly powerful, and they can create entire narratives about who we are or what will happen in the future. But just because you think something doesn't make it true. Just because you feel like something is going to happen doesn't mean it will. The act of challenging your thoughts creates a space between you and the thought itself. Instead of identifying with it, you start to observe it. And this observation is key. For instance, if you have the thought, I'm not good enough to get this promotion, challenge it by looking at the facts. Have you had successes in the past that qualify you for this opportunity? Are you making progress toward your goals? What feedback have you received from others that indicates you are capable? By asking these questions, you force your mind to look at the situation more objectively. You may find that your fear of inadequacy is based on a fear of failure rather than reality. And with this awareness, you can begin to reframe your thoughts into something more empowering. Once you've caught a negative thought and challenged its validity, the next step is to actively flip the script to replace that negative thought with something more balanced, realistic, or empowering. Realistic or empowering. The key here is not just to ignore the negative thought, but to consciously choose a new perspective that aligns better with your goals, values, and the truth of the situation. It's easy to get stuck in a loop of negative thinking, where one thought leads to another, And before you know it, you've spiraled into a whole negative narrative about your life, your worth, or your future. This is where flipping the script becomes incredibly powerful because it interrupts that loop. Instead of letting that negative thought dominate, you rewrite it into something that works for you rather than against you. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm terrible at this job and I'll never get better, you can flip the script by reminding yourself of your past successes. You could reframe the thought to, I faced challenges before and improved over time. This is a learning process, and I'm getting better with every step I take. By doing this, you're not denying your struggles, but you're also not allowing those struggles to define your entire identity or future. You acknowledge the difficulty and also remind yourself of your capacity for growth and improvement. Flipping the script works best when you make your new thought more positive and empowering, but also realistic. It's important not to go from one extreme to another. For instance, replacing a can't do this or with I can do anything may feel too far-fetched for some people, especially if they don't yet believe it. A more effective flip might be, I am capable of learning and improving in this situation. This version is not only more achievable, but it acknowledges your power to make progress, even if you're not perfect yet. One of the most effective ways to flip the script is to focus on what you can control. Often, negative thinking is tied to feelings of helplessness or a belief that things are out of your hands. For instance, if you're anxious about an upcoming event, you might start thinking, what if I fail? Or I'm going to mess everything up? Instead of getting stuck in this downward spiral, flip the script by focusing on what you can do to prepare and succeed. Ask yourself, what actions can I take right now that will set me up for success? This grounds your mind in productive action, rather than getting lost in worry and worst-case scenarios. Another powerful technique for flipping the script is using affirmations. Affirmations are statements that reinforce positive beliefs about yourself and your situation. They act as a reminder of your strengths, abilities, and potential. When you're feeling overwhelmed by negativity, using affirmations can be an excellent way to reset your mindset. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm always messing things up, you might flip it by saying, I am capable, and I handle challenges with resilience and grace. Repeating this affirmation daily can gradually replace the negative thought patterns with more constructive, positive beliefs. Flipping the script is a conscious practice. It requires you to be intentional about your thoughts and to make a habit of challenging and changing the narratives you tell yourself. Over time, this will begin to shift the way you view challenges, setbacks, and even yourself. Instead of seeing yourself as someone defined by mistakes, you begin to see yourself as someone who grows from them. One of the most critical elements in overcoming negative thinking is learning to break the cycle of rumination. Negative thoughts can often feel like an out-of-control snowball. It starts small, but the longer you let it roll, the bigger and more overwhelming it becomes. The more you dwell on these thoughts, the more they seem to feed on themselves, gaining strength and intensity. Eventually, it can feel like you're trapped in an endless loop of negativity, where the mind is consumed by worry, fear, or self-doubt. The key to stopping this cycle is to not feed the beast. Think of it like a mental junk food habit. Just as eating unhealthy foods regularly can impact your physical health, allowing negative thoughts to dominate your mind on a regular basis can harm your emotional well-being. Every time you indulge in negative thinking, you're feeding it and strengthening its hold over you. On the flip side, when you break the cycle and refuse to give in to these thoughts, you begin to weaken their grip. The first step in not feeding the beast is recognizing when you're falling into a negative thought pattern. It's easy to get sucked into an endless loop of worry or self-criticism, but once you notice it, you have the power to interrupt it. The moment you catch yourself ruminating, perhaps you're replaying an uncomfortable conversation, worrying about the future, or imagining worst-case scenarios. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that this isn't helping. It's only feeding the negativity, and it's not bringing you any closer to solving the problem or feeling better. One of the most effective ways to stop feeding negative thoughts is to distract yourself. When you find yourself spiraling, try to break away from the cycle by shifting your attention to something completely different. Engage in an activity that requires your focus, whether it's going for a walk reading, doing a creative hobby, or having a conversation with a friend. This mental reset can help you detach from the negativity and return to a more balanced state of mind. It's important to note that distractions don't mean avoiding or suppressing your feelings. They just provide temporary relief and help you regain control of your thought process. Another powerful way to stop feeding negativity is through mindfulness. Mindfulness involves observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing them to come and go without getting caught up in them. When you practice mindfulness, you're not trying to avoid or push away negative thoughts, but you're learning to detach from them. You see them for what they are, just thoughts, and you let them pass without attaching meaning or emotion to them. For example, if you start thinking, I'm a failure, you can practice mindfulness by recognizing that thought, acknowledging it, but choosing not to engage with it. You can say to yourself, this is just a thought and it doesn't define me. By doing this, you stop feeding the beast and start taking control of your mental space. It's also helpful to set time limits on your worry or negative thinking. Sometimes we can feel like we need to spend hours mulling over a problem or situation, but that often just leads to more stress and anxiety. Instead, allow yourself a set time, say 15 minutes, to think about or worry over the issue. During this time, focus on the thoughts and feelings surrounding it. But once the timer goes off, intentionally move on to something else. This technique is known as the worry period approach, and it gives you permission to acknowledge your concerns without letting them consume you. Ultimately, the key to not feeding the beast is choosing where to direct your energy. You have the ability to focus your attention on thoughts and actions that empower you and move you forward. This doesn't mean ignoring or repressing difficult emotions or situations, but rather choosing not to let them dominate your mental space. By refusing to feed into negativity, you're creating the mental space for more positive, constructive, and peaceful thoughts. When negative thinking takes hold, it's easy to become your own harshest critic. You might find yourself berating yourself for mistakes, doubting your worth, or feeling like you're not good enough. In those moments, the voice in your head often becomes filled with judgment, self-criticism, and harsh words that would never be directed at anyone else. But here's the truth. Self-compassion is the antidote to this toxic inner dialogue. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that you would offer to a friend or loved one. It's about embracing your humanity, acknowledging your imperfections, and giving yourself permission to be less than perfect. Instead of beating yourself up for perceived failures or shortcomings, self-compassion allows you to meet those challenges with warmth and empathy. The first step toward practicing self-compassion is recognizing that you are human. We all make mistakes, face challenges, and experience setbacks. It's part of life. But when negative thinking takes over, we often forget this simple truth and begin to believe that we should be perfect or that we are somehow unworthy when we don't measure up. Self-compassion reminds you that being imperfect doesn't mean you're not worthy of love, success, or happiness. It simply means you're human, and that's okay. A key aspect of self-compassion is the ability to comfort yourself in difficult moments. When you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or self-critical, take a moment to pause and be gentle with yourself. Place a hand over your heart or give yourself a reassuring hug and remind yourself that it's okay to feel the way you do. You might say to yourself, this is hard right now, but it's okay to feel this way. I'm doing the best I can. This simple act of kindness can shift your mindset from one of judgment to one of understanding and support. It's also important to note that self-compassion isn't about excusing bad behavior or avoiding responsibility. It's not about letting yourself off the hook or indulging in unhealthy habits. Instead, it's about treating yourself with respect and kindness while also striving to grow and improve. Self-compassion allows you to acknowledge your mistakes without defining yourself by them. It creates the emotional space for learning and growth, rather than punishment and shame. For instance, if you make a mistake at work, instead of calling yourself a stupid or incompetent, practice self-compassion by recognizing that everyone makes mistakes, and this is an opportunity to learn and do better next time. Self-compassion also involves shifting your inner dialogue from one of self-criticism to one of encouragement and support. Many of us have a tendency to use negative language when we speak to ourselves, especially during difficult moments. We may say things like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed. These thoughts only reinforce the negative beliefs we have about ourselves. Instead, when you catch yourself engaging in self-criticism, practice replacing those thoughts with words of compassion. For example, change, I can't do this, till this is challenging, but I'm capable of handling it and I will figure it out. Change, I'm not good enough to I have strengths and skills, and I am worthy of success and happiness. These subtle shifts in language may seem small, but they can have a profound impact on how you feel about yourself and your ability to overcome challenges. Another important element of self-compassion is the ability to forgive yourself. Holding on to guilt, shame, or regret can weigh heavily on your emotional well-being and reinforce negative thought patterns. But self-compassion encourages you to let go of these burdens and offer yourself forgiveness. Understand that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Instead of carrying around the weight of past mistakes, allow yourself the freedom to learn from them and move forward with a lighter heart. Finally, self-compassion encourages you to embrace the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Negative thinking often stems from rumination about past failures or fears about what might happen next. Self-compassion asks you to be kind to yourself right here, right now. It invites you to be present with your emotions rather than running from them or burying them. By accepting yourself fully in the present moment, you stop letting negative thoughts about the past or future dictate your sense of self-worth. That negative thoughts flood your mind. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, powerless, or stuck. These thoughts can sometimes feel so all-encompassing that they drown out your ability to think clearly or take any productive action. That's where creating a go-to list can be incredibly helpful. A go-to list is essentially a personalized collection of tools, affirmations, practices, and reminders that you can turn to in times of distress or negativity. It's like having a mental first aid kit that you can rely on when you need it most. The purpose of this list is to provide you with immediate access to things that uplift you, calm you down, or help you shift your mindset. It's a proactive strategy that gives you something constructive to focus on instead of getting lost in negative thinking. The more you use your go-to list, the more natural it becomes to reach for it when negativity arises, helping you reframe your thinking and regain your sense of peace. The first step in creating your go-to list is to identify what works for you. Different strategies work for different people, so take some time to explore and discover what helps you feel grounded, inspired, or calm. For some, this might include positive affirmations or quotes, while for others it might be a particular hobby or activity. The key is to tailor the list to your own unique preferences and needs. One powerful tool to include in your go-to list is affirmations. Affirmations are simple, positive statements that counteract the negative beliefs you may hold about yourself or a situation. When you feel the weight of negativity creeping in, repeating an affirmation can quickly shift your mindset. For example, if you're struggling with feelings of inadequacy, you might have an affirmation like, I am capable of handling challenges, and I trust in my ability to grow. Or if you're dealing with anxiety about the future, you could use, I cannot control everything, but I am taking positive steps forward every day. Having a set of affirmations that resonate with you provides a quick way to replace negative thoughts with ones that are more supportive and empowering. In addition to affirmations, you might also include a list of past achievements or positive feedback that you've received from others. When negative thinking convinces you that you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed, looking back at your accomplishments can provide a much-needed reality check. You might remind yourself of times when you've overcome obstacles, handled difficult situations, or received praise for your hard work. This list serves as evidence of your strengths and abilities, reinforcing the truth that you are capable and worthy of success. By acknowledging your past wins, you remind yourself that setbacks don't define your potential. They are just part of the journey. Another important component of your go-to list could be self-care practices. Self-care is a crucial element in managing negative thoughts and emotions, and knowing what helps you unwind, relax, and rejuvenate can make a huge difference. Whether it's taking a walk, practicing deep breathing exercises, engaging in a creative activity, or simply enjoying a warm cup of tea, having a self-care routine that you can turn to when negativity strikes helps you reset your mindset. This not only gives you a break from the mental chatter, but also signals to your mind and body that you are deserving of rest and care, especially in moments of stress. For some people, journaling or writing down thoughts is an effective way to clear their minds and reframe negative thinking. When you feel overwhelmed by negativity, writing can be an excellent tool to process emotions, identify patterns, and challenge unhelpful thoughts. You might create a dedicated journal for positive reflections where you note things you are grateful for, things you've learned from challenges, or moments of joy throughout your day. This practice allows you to shift your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right, helping you develop a more balanced perspective. You could also include a list of people who support you in your go-to list. When negativity strikes, reaching out to a friend, mentor, or loved one can provide much-needed comfort and perspective. Having a list of people you trust can serve as a reminder that you don't have to face difficulties alone. Whether you send a text, have a phone call, or spend time with them, connecting with supportive individuals can help you feel validated, loved, and more grounded in reality. Another valuable tool for your go-to list is relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness practices. These techniques are designed to calm the mind and reduce the physical symptoms of stress and anxiety. For example, when you start feeling overwhelmed by negative thoughts, taking a few minutes to practice deep breathing, such as inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, and exhaling for 4 counts, can lower your stress levels and bring you back into the present moment. Engaging in mindfulness or meditation can also help you observe your thoughts without judgment, creating a sense of detachment from the negativity and reducing its power over you. Negative thinking often thrives when we are lost in the past or consumed by worries about the future. Our minds tend to revisit old regrets, mistakes, or experiences that still carry emotional weight, and this can lead to rumination, where we replay the same negative thoughts over and over again. Similarly, anxiety about future events, things that haven't happened yet, can dominate our thoughts and trigger fear and stress. However, the present moment is the only moment we have direct control over, and focusing on it is one of the most powerful ways to stop negative thinking in its tracks. Being present means fully engaging in the here and now, rather than letting your mind wander to the past or future. The present moment is where life is happening. It's the only place where you can take action, make decisions, and truly experience life. When you're focused on the present, you're able to break free from the cycle of negativity that arises when your mind is consumed by what has happened or what might happen. By practicing mindfulness and other techniques to stay present, you can regain a sense of calm, clarity, and control. One of the primary benefits of focusing on the present is that it helps you reduce worry and anxiety. Worrying about future events, whether it's a big meeting, an upcoming exam, or concerns about personal relationships, often fuels negative thinking. These worries are typically based on scenarios that haven't happened yet, and yet your mind treats them as if they are inevitable. By focusing on the present, you can recognize that these fears are speculative and not necessarily grounded in reality. For example, if you're stressed about an upcoming presentation, you might catch yourself thinking, oh, what if I mess up? What if they don't like me? When you become aware of these thoughts, you can shift your focus back to the present, asking yourself, what can I do right now to prepare for this? How can I improve my performance in this moment? By engaging with what's within your control in the present, you reduce the power of anxiety about the future. Another way focusing on the present helps combat negative thinking is by breaking the cycle of rumination. When you're caught up in negative thoughts about the past, whether it's a mistake you made, a missed opportunity, or something you regret, you're essentially reliving those moments in your mind, but without any ability to change them. This can be incredibly draining and counterproductive. The past is gone. You cannot change what's already happened, but by turning your attention to the present moment, you free yourself from the grip of past regrets. Instead of replaying old conversations, mistakes, or misunderstandings, you can focus on what's happening right now. This shift in focus helps you release the emotional charge that's connected to past events, making it easier to move forward. One powerful technique to help you focus on the present is mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is the practice of paying attention to each breath as you inhale and exhale, 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 and exhale. It's a simple yet effective way to center yourself in the present moment, especially when your mind begins to wander into negativity. When you take slow, deliberate breaths, you activate the body's relaxation response, which reduces stress and anxiety. As you focus on your breath, you bring your attention back to the present and let go of any mental distractions. This practice doesn't require any special skills or a specific setting, and you can use it anywhere, whether you're at home, in the office, or even in a stressful situation. By grounding yourself in your breath, you create a calm space where negative thoughts can no longer dominate your mind. Another technique that can help you focus on the present is engaging your senses. When you're stuck in a loop of negative thinking, it can be helpful to direct your attention to what you can see, hear, touch, taste, or smell in the moment. This is often called a grounding. For example, you might pause for a moment and observe your surroundings. What color, shapes, or textures are present in the space around you? What sounds can you hear? This practice helps you reconnect with your environment and shift your attention away from the internal chatter of negative thoughts. It pulls you back into the present, where your mind isn't consumed by worries or regrets. In addition, mindful movement, such as stretching, yoga, or walking, can also help you reconnect with the present moment. When you engage in mindful movement, you focus on the sensations in your body, such as the feeling of your muscles stretching or the rhythm of your steps. This physical practice helps anchor your mind to the present and creates a sense of mindfulness that prevents your thoughts from drifting into negativity. Even a short walk outside can be enough to interrupt the cycle of negative thinking and help you reset your mindset. Another effective way to stay present is through self-compassionate self-talk. Instead of criticizing yourself for having negative thoughts or focusing on what you can't change, practice talking to yourself with kindness. When you feel negative thoughts rising, try saying something like, "It's okay to feel this way right now. I can take this moment to breathe and focus on what I can control." This approach helps you release self-judgment and shift your focus back to the present moment with a sense of understanding and patience. The people, environments, and stimuli around you play a significant role in shaping your thoughts and emotional state. If you find yourself constantly bombarded by negativity, whether through the media, toxic relationships, or stressful environments, it's no surprise that negative thinking can take hold. To counter this, one of the most effective strategies for overcoming negativity is to surround yourself with positivity. This doesn't just mean avoiding negative influences, but actively choosing to immerse yourself in environments and relationships that uplift, inspire, and support you. The people you surround yourself with can have a profound impact on your mindset. Positive relationships, those built on mutual respect, kindness, and encouragement, serve as a buffer against negativity. When you spend time with people who are supportive, uplifting, and optimistic, their energy can help shift your own thinking. These relationships can act as reminders of your worth, help you stay grounded in difficult times, and offer fresh perspectives when negativity threatens to take over. On the other hand, toxic relationships can significantly contribute to negative thinking patterns. If you're surrounded by people who constantly criticize, belittle, or drain your energy, it can be hard to maintain a positive outlook. Negative energy from others can seep into your own mindset and make you more prone to self-doubt, anxiety, and pessimism. It's important to recognize these toxic influences and take steps to protect your mental well-being. This might mean setting boundaries with certain individuals or distancing yourself from people who consistently bring negativity into your life. While it may not always be easy, prioritizing your emotional health is crucial to overcoming negative thinking. In addition to the people you interact with, the environments you spend time in also play a key role in shaping your mindset. Your physical surroundings can influence your mood, energy levels, and thought patterns. For instance, a cluttered, chaotic environment can create feelings of stress, overwhelm, and even contribute to mental fatigue. On the other hand, a peaceful, organized, and aesthetically pleasing space can help create a sense of calm and clarity. Surrounding yourself with beauty, whether it's through nature, artwork, or simply maintaining a clean and tidy living or workspace, can foster a more positive and relaxed mental state. Similarly, the content you consume on a daily basis has a direct impact on your thoughts. Media consumption, including news, social media, television, and even the books you read, can either fuel negative thinking or promote positivity. If you constantly watch distressing news stories or engage in social media that brings up feelings of inadequacy or comparison, your mind is likely to become saturated with negativity. Over time, this can reinforce feelings of fear, anxiety, or hopelessness. To counter this, consciously choose to consume content that is inspiring, educational, and uplifting. Follow accounts, listen to podcasts, or read books that promote positivity, growth, and empowerment. Seeking out material that encourages gratitude, mindfulness, and self-improvement can help shift your perspective and protect you from the onslaught of negative information that's often prevalent in our digital world. Another way to surround yourself with positivity is to engage in positive activities that align with your values and passions. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, volunteering, exercising, or spending time in nature, Doing things that bring you joy and fulfillment can boost your mood and reduce the impact of negative thinking. When you engage in activities that make you feel good about yourself and your life, you're more likely to cultivate a positive mindset. These activities create a positive feedback loop, where the more you engage in what makes you happy, the more you reinforce feelings of self-worth and positivity. Moreover, affirmations and positive self-talk can serve as a daily practice for surrounding yourself with positivity, even when external circumstances are less than ideal. Start each day by affirming your strengths, your goals, and the positive aspects of your life. You can repeat statements like, "I am deserving of happiness," "I am capable of handling challenges with grace," or "I choose to focus on the positive in my life." Writing these affirmations down and reading them aloud can anchor your mind in positivity, making it easier to resist the pull of negative thinking throughout the day. These small positive rituals can serve as a powerful reminder of your inner strength and resilience. In addition, it's important to incorporate gratitude practices into your daily routine. Gratitude has been shown to have a profound impact on emotional well-being and mental health. When you focus on what you're thankful for, it helps shift your attention away from what's wrong in your life and directs it toward what's going right. This simple yet powerful practice can dramatically change your perspective, especially when negative thoughts begin to take over. You might consider keeping a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. These can be big things, like your health, your family, or a fulfilling job, or smaller moments, like a warm cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset. By regularly acknowledging the good in your life, you cultivate a sense of abundance, which crowds out negativity. Finally, surrounding yourself with positivity also involves choosing to be around people who challenge you to grow and be the best version of yourself. This doesn't mean only seeking out people who always agree with you, but rather people who inspire you, encourage your personal development, and support your goals. Positive relationships often push you to step out of your comfort zone, pursue your dreams, and strive for self-improvement. When you are around people who lift you up and believe in your potential, it becomes easier to maintain a positive outlook on life.